Hello? Hello? Is that working now? We could do it with no sound, couldn't we? Hi, everyone. I was just rambling. I hadn't started. Because the restarting the program made it think, oh, you don't use that microphone that you always use. I'm flipped, aren't I, from last time? I don't like it. Let's flip me back. How do I do that? Do you flip vertical or horizontal? It's going to go strange. I'm going to pick the wrong one, aren't I? I always pick the wrong one. Horizontal. No, I picked the right one. I think that's how I'm looking. Yeah, it's going off to the side, isn't it? That's weird. Hi, everybody. Yeah, it would just be mouthing the words. Hey, Monica. Hey, James. Hey, Mikhail. How's it going? Monica, you're after Godlings. I would like to hear what's everybody looking forward to, because I'm going to miss loads of things out, I imagine, because there's like 1,200 games on the Essen preview, and I've tried to be ruthless because I can't come back with loads. Hi, Rach. Speaking of Marty, here's Marty. He's got no interest in being up here for the time being, but he can say a quick hello to everybody. He was here for one of the streams, wasn't he? Last week. This is the best you're getting of him. And a rare appearance from Rach.
Yes, hello.
Although you're being heard in storytime form on the Primal videos.
That was ages ago.
Yeah. That was pre-holiday. When I was ready with a load of videos. No, I'm not ready. Yes, you can support the channel on Patreon if you would like to. It's how I'm able to do any of the things, and yeah, it's even without getting any games. Going to Essen's scarily expensive these days. I'm not even staying in Essen. He's been very...
Just chilling.
Yeah, he's been very calm and compliant. You'd usually have wriggled away by now. Good that the camera thing's picking him up. And when you're going to do some live story time, Rach?
Soon.
Soon?
Just soon.
Just generally soon.
Okay, I'm off.
Thanks for
I'm
joining us.
Shoulder.
Oh. You can tell everyone what your top 10 Essen games are, Rach.
No. Don't know.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't pressed anything that messes with the stream over. No, I pressed something unrelated. Yeah, it is scarily social. And just in general. Hey, I'm excited about games and stuff and go into the thing, but I'm not excited about traveling places on my own. I'm not excited about being in a place that isn't here, really. And in such a busy place. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I literally can't bring that many things back. I've only got like my suitcase. You can send boxes back, but I've seen the prices and yikes. And the price of games, and as I say, get in there. I thought like 5 years ago that it was like €100 a night or something at the hotel. And I was thinking like this is crazy. Now you'd be wishing for that. I don't know what the hotel prices in Essen would be like, because as I say, I'm staying outside it and it's still really expensive. There are so many need games, but we'll get to them. We'll get a load of stuff, eh? No, unfortunately, Rach is not going with me. Like it has to line up with school holidays, which it hasn't done since 2017, which is that the second time I went? Like I went on my own. Might have been 2016 the first time, and then in 2017 it lined up with the school holidays, and our friend Dan came, and we drove. That's the only time we ever drove down, And so, hey, there were people that I could be there with. And then I went the 2 years after that and stayed alone in a hotel in Essen, which, yeah, I'm not great at joining in with things and being in places and going to places and doing things, really. I'm good at this here, being in this space box, talking. Although if you're going to Essen and you do see me, shout me, say hello, because that's one of the few things that I'm not kind of anxious about. I don't mind having a chat. Shall we get the browser up? Oh yeah, because I should say a thing. First up, is the browser working? There we go. There's the default Firefox background. So, something that's happening on Saturday is Meet and Play, which I think is a recent thing in the last couple of years. It's the first time I've gone since 2019, so I imagine there'll be plenty of new things to me just about the convention in general, never mind all the 1,200 new games. But on Saturday, at a place that I was sure would be on their website, you need a ticket to Spiel. It's behind one of the location of the place. Here it is. Can you see my... Yeah, you can see my cursor. Here it is, by Hall 3. Shortly before the entrance to Hall 3 on the upper floor. I need to remember this as well because I'm meant to be going there. So it's basically a thing to meet content creators and playthroughers, I imagine. So you can see from all of their icons, there's loads of people going to be there. These are the times that they're going to be appearing. So if you're at Essen and you like any of these people, then they're times when they're going to be in that place on Saturday. So I am going to be there at 3 with a kind of, I think we're kind of grouping up, ganging up with a load of UK people. So it's going to be me and Gaming Rules and Not Board Gaming, Broken Meeple, Whose Turn Is It Anyway, and Ninja Geek. We're going to all be there at 3, I think. You can see us on this board, but yeah, there's going to be overlaps with other people. I think we've just got tables and stuff. It's just somewhere that we can meet up, because usually I'm running from place to place or hiding in a corridor somewhere. So that's a thing that's going to be happening. Yeah, James can confirm that I am real. I don't go to many places, but I am real. One of the few real life places is the Expo this year. Although we went to Beacon. That's more conventions than we usually go to. And Essen is one more than I usually go to. We'll see how it goes. Will it become a regular thing again? Or will there be another gap? Advised having Saltfjord, Gardlings and Spectacular on your must-have list. You've met 2, seen 1 and met the designers. I need to remember Gardlings. We'll look that up. So what I'm going to do is top 10 time for a bookmark time. I'll be scanning through a video. I'm not going to see this, am I, as a sign point. So I'm going to go through 5 of the games that are going to be released that I've already played. So aren't eligible to be in the top 10 anticipated anymore, but I can tell you at least 3 of them I think would have been in the top 10. Just an excuse to talk about more than 10, really, isn't there? Then we're going to talk about top 10 anticipated, and there's an expansion and a demo in there as well. And then see how we do for time, because I've got the tab open with me Tabletop Together tool in as well, which is what I've been using. Thanks, Peter. Which is based on the Board Game Geek preview as well. Massive thanks to Eric Martin every year for putting that together. But yeah, Tabletop Together tool is how I'm used to prioritising everything. So, games, and these, I've done playthroughs for all of these ones that I've covered so far. So, the 5, in order of how much I liked them, although it was quite tough. So, Beyond the Horizon, first. Oh, I use Firefox because it's not signed into anything, but ads everywhere, aren't there? So, Beyond the Horizon. Reimplementation of Beyond the Sun, which at the time of the playthrough I hadn't played. It's all about going through tech trees. I should have had my videos open, shouldn't I? Am I even on the pages anymore? Hey, look at that guy. I'm not going to be muted though. So yeah, you are going through tech trees. You are building up your civilization on a hex map, but it's kind of shared. You want settlers out there to kind of research the spaces and get a special ability, and then to settle them finally and get some points from that. And different people can do those things. And we're racing up this tech tree that's going to be different every game. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. And I think in the playthrough you'll see, like, we didn't realize kind of from just playing it that, like, we were kind of focusing on, oh, I'll do this thing on the map, you do the tech tree, and we'll see how it comes out. I think, like, the tech tree is the thing, really, and then everything else kind of happens incidentally from that. I can compare it a bit now. We've played Beyond the Sun on Board Game Arena, and I like Beyond the Horizon a lot more. Beyond the Sun's got some, like, it's got a bit of meanness with some of the abilities. Like, when you're the first person to reveal a tech thing, you draw a card that gives you a special power. In Beyond the Horizon, all the ones we saw, maybe there's some we didn't see, are like a benefit to you. But there was ones in Beyond the Horizon there was ones in Beyond the Sun that were like, oh, put this down and now it costs more for every other player, and daft things like that, and a load of area majority stuff in the planet system. Yeah, wasn't a fan. Although the expansion is apparently pretty good, and that adds solo into it. But yeah, I preferred Beyond the Horizon. But what I enjoyed even more was Galileo Galilei, which is one of 3 new games from Thomas Holek this year. And this is a game of looking at the skies. There are a load of things in the sky to have a look at, and you are like, there's a little rondelle system here with your telescope. You're pointing it at different actions. Well, basically, you can move it 1 to 3 spaces, and it's going to point to a main action and a bonus. And the bonuses are on tiles that shift every time you choose one of them. And you are trying to make all of these astronomical discoveries. But as you make a lot of them, you will attract the wrath of the Inquisition, who want to stop you doing stuff, but you need to kind of win them over to your side if you're going to attract a load of them over. I've done a 2-player playthrough for Beyond the Horizon. I've done a solo playthrough for Galileo. Spectacular, new from Chili Fox Games. That is such a fantastic, like, we're into now, like, Galileo would have been very close, but we're into things that would have been in me top 10 now. So Spectacular is thematically, hey, there's Arleth and his brother, the designers of the game. So in the game, we are trying to make, like, zoos, really, right? We have got different species categories of animals that we are trying to build up. We have a draft between dice and tiles that are on our player board and ones that are on a board that swap between the players between turns. And you are trying to get like groups of habitats together, the colours. You're trying to get the highest numbers on them, but you're limited to the numbers until you can, like, if you can complete an area of the same colour pillar, you'll get one of those pillars on there and you can score more dice that way. It's a really, like, crunchy, puzzly game, but it's so satisfying. Yeah, as Monica's saying, it's about as annoyingly tight as Calico, but I think it gives you more control than Calico as well, because there's the tiles that you have available for the round. Oh, I'm hitting the table too much and shaking everything. Whoops. Hey, look at what unlogged in stories it would like you to read. Boots is looking for people that want you to. I took magnesium daily for 3 months. Look into them at your leisure if you would like to. Oh, it's closed. Spectacular. So yeah, you can see all of the stuff for the round that's going to be draftable. You can see everything on your board. Everyone's got, like, the same kind of things at the start of the game on their player boards, but the rotating drafting board, you can see all of the tiles at the start of the round, and so you can kind of, it's an agonizing decision that, like, I need loads of these things, but what do I need first, and what do I think you'll take? It's really, really satisfying. And you don't have, there's sometimes, like, things you wish you'd drawn, but you don't have that thing of Calico where you're, like, really praying for a tile to come up and you're just not flipping it over. You can see what is going to be available and kind of plan accordingly. I think there is a reason that it's called Spectacular. Sorry, Galileo. There's no need to keep these tabs open. I think that was raised somewhere, and they gave a reason for it. The name Spectacular. Isle of Co-Designer says, we want to find a different name than the standard animal park names. The word spectacular originates from Latin, spectaculum, which means look at. Since watchtowers are in play and the animals are spectacular in themselves, we found it to be an appropriate title. And it's easier to make sequels and expansions when a title is more general. There you go. That's why it's called Spectacular. So I'll close these tabs and try not to hit that home button. It's right in my gesture radius, my hand gesture radius. So next up, number 2 in games that I've already played and covered on the channel. You can see a playthrough I did for Spectacular as well. Did I do a solo for that? Or did I do 2 players? Oh yeah, right next to Magnificent. Magnificent and Spectacular. Then we had, new from Delicious Games Then, designer Vladimir Suchi, Resafa, which is a bit of a lighter game than I've been used to from Mr. Suchi in recent years. But you are trying to, like, your merchants, you are building up trade routes, you are building canals and all of these things. And we have got a hand of 3 different action cards. The cards have got 2 main actions on them and colours at the top and bottom. And you can orient the card how you want. It's going to decide which pair of things you do. The main actions relate to, you know, building the canals, travelling on the map and wheeling and dealing goods, building these workshops and gardens on your personal player area. But the colour relates to, you can use that particular colour to get a bonus card of that colour. And that can give you bonus actions to use now or later, or extra resources and things like that. You can move up on that colour's track for upgrades. And if you get far enough along it, you can take a upgrade card. So the yellow ones upgrade your main actions, make them either give you resources in the middle, or the colours go wild at stage 1. So rather than being fixed to a pair of colours, you can choose any colour you like for the colour action. And then level 2, you can do any main action and any colour action. And you replace cards in your deck, so you've always got 6. And then the 3rd level cards actually let you do 2 different actions on one of your turns. And then the white ones are all about one-time bonuses. The blue ones can be one-time bonuses, but also enhance a lot of actions. Whenever you take a particular action, you'll get a load of bonuses. And the pink ones are all about end game points. You are trying to build up these workshops here. When you take a produce action, the workshops all have production things, and you can take like a worse production option, but it will give you the ability to activate an extra workshop on your turn, and you're building up these gardens to activate bonuses that are on all of those tiles. It works together beautifully. I have done a solo playthrough of Resafa, and then finally, my favourite, although it was close, Saltfjord is my favourite so far, which is not surprising because I really love Santa Maria, which this game re-implements. It uses a couple of things, but mainly the dice drafting from Santa Maria. So on our player boards, we have got rows and columns. So you see at the top, all of the columns are activated by white dice, all of the rows are activated by orange dice. We draft these from the main board. And when you take, like, say, a white die, it's, hey, I've taken a white 2. You go at the top of your 2 column, and you activate all of the actions from top to bottom on there, but then the die stays on the bottom 1. So that's blocked off for the rest of the round. And you are buying new tiles to make this more effective. You get bonuses for filling in rows and columns. There is now fishing to be done out here. Every time you fish, you can go to the next section and take a new fish tile, or bring everything back, and it can be resources and points and things. There's tech tracks to go up that will give you special abilities throughout the game, maybe extra workers that can activate any action on your player board. They will activate some endgame scoring stuff, will give you extra special abilities, and you can also ship goods, which is another thing that was in Santa Maria, right? Remembering that correctly, I think. And it's also got there's an advanced rule that adds wagons. So every time you advance a row or column that a wagon's in, you move it first, and if it moves onto an action, you get to take that action as a little bonus. And if you move it further and further, you get extra points at the end of the game. I think that was one of the modules in the Santa Maria expansion, right? I think it was. But yeah, it's everything I loved about Santa Maria with a different, better theme, and I just love the extra bits on top as well, the fishing and stuff. It works beautifully, and I would be surprised. I don't want to say how many. I would be surprised if Saltfjord wasn't in my top 10. I'd be surprised if Resafa wasn't, actually. But we'll see, there's time to go, and all of these things are coming out. So that's 5 that I have already played and played through on the channel. Saltfjord, I did a solo playthrough. You can watch that now. They're all up on the channel if you'd like to know more about them. And then we will go on to things I haven't played yet. And you get, hey Stephen, are you playing Praga right now? I hope you're doing well. Haven't played. Oh, I played Praga a couple of months ago, actually. We played it on Board Game Arena. I was pleased to see it on there. A big run of playing loads of things on there. Sequel to Nosfjord. Yeah, it's a much better theme. Fjord's in New Zealand. I didn't know that. Right. Yes. So first, we will go into... So there's 10 games that I'm the most excited about that are coming out at Essen. But there are a couple of cheats to talk about 2 more things. One is an expansion. So Barcelona, one of my favourite games of last year, right? Really impressed of games from Danny Garcia, and any more of it I'm very excited about. It's going to be coming from Board and Dice, of course, because they published the main game. And I've just thrown it on there, just being excited that there's more stuff coming. But what's coming out? Of all the streets of the example, Passeig de Gracia is the most iconic. First, it was just a road connecting Barcelona and the former town of Gracia. Now a major district of Barcelona, it became a promenade where Barcelona's citizens went to relax and was filled with restaurants, coffee shops, ballrooms, theatres, parks, and even roller coasters. But these amenities were only available to the upper and middle classes, as they were part of private gardens. So it's an expansion. New elements are pedestrians who walk along this new street, enjoying various amenities. The more pleasant their walk, the bigger the rewards you gain once they reach their destination. So I hope to pick that up there. And then one that is just a demo, but I'm very excited about, because Defenders of the Realm is getting a new, very fancy edition. And this is one that I've had my eye on about picking up the old one for ages. I've been watching it and trying to spot on eBay and stuff, which I could have got, but there's some expensive things. There's loads of expansions and stuff for it. I didn't really know where I was. And then I saw that this new edition's getting announced. And I feel like this is the time to jump in, right? Rather than getting the old one. It's getting a new fancy edition from Greater Than Games. And another thing, I should have got a tab open for this, actually. It's not on the preview, but a re-implementation of the original Defenders of the Realm with a load of different things in it is Freedom 5, that I've been going on about for ages, but it had delays and things, but it's nearly here. It's on boats and stuff. It's happening. I wonder if they'll have their copy. I'm getting the companies right, aren't I? I wonder if they'll have their finished copy of Greater Than Games. Oh, it's Arcane Wonders as well. Maybe Arcane Wonders are going to be there, though. I wonder if either of them are going to have their... Because Greater Than Games make Sentinels, right? So they will have licensed out, and Arcane Wonders made Freedom 5. I wonder if Arcane Wonders are going to have Freedom 5 there. I don't think it's on the preview unless I've missed it. But yeah, very excited for my copy. I backed it. It looks very cool. I mean, even if it's just Defenders of the Realm looks like a cool co-op game. Superhero themed. I'm all for. But yeah, it's coming very soon. It's got minis and stuff, enormous boxes, much bigger than I imagined when I backed it. But that's a problem for future time to try and fit it somewhere, isn't it? Right then, let's get into the 10. So first of all, I think I talked about a couple of these at the expo. So Little Alchemists, which I know is like a family aimed game, but I love Alchemists. It's like, I love logic puzzles really and deduction-y things, and although the big Alchemist is a very big heavy game that relies a lot on these deduction puzzle elements, it's got a little bit of meanness to it as well. I'm moving myself along a bit so I'm less in the way of the browser, but I love the idea of taking that core and the core kind of deduction thing. Let's get a picture up of it. If you've never seen Alchemists, you've got a load of different ingredients like this, and you use an app to mix these 2 ingredients together, and it tells you what kind of potion they make. And through your deduction-y skills, you are trying to fill in a little... Here we go. you're trying to fill in this little deduction grid here, telling you what each of these like base elements makes. And so Little Alchemists, as I said, is aimed for like families and children and things, and strips the game right back to just the deduction-y stuff. But as you go along in it, it introduces more and more, like through boxes and stuff. So you'll be, that triangle will start out a lot smaller and be a much easier deduction game. But more and more elements will get added through chapters to the point where you're playing something not as complex as Alchemists. That's still a pretty heavy game. But you are playing like a fully fledged, like everyone can join in deduction game, rather than like the very basic chapter 1 is aimed at like teaching kids deduction and stuff, which I am really excited about, even if it's going to end up being something that might end up too light. I'm very pleased that it's existing, and I'm keen to play it. It's been ages since I played Alchemists as well, because Rach never liked it. Rach, my wife, is not a fan of deduction-y stuff as well, so it's no surprise really. But I can't remember what we thought was mean about it. Is it like the disputing of the... I remember you could put theories forward and dispute them. I don't know if it was that. I can't really remember. It's been many, many years. Because, like, at the moment, shelf space is at such a crazy premium that I've, for a while now, had to be getting rid of games that I absolutely love. So if there's a game that really doesn't work for one of us, and it doesn't have a solo mode that I really fancy, it can't be kept at this point. Hey, brother, Horus, Beyond the Sun is a fantastic game. I'm glad you enjoy it. I want a fan. I thought it was alright. It's not something I would play again. I would probably play Beyond the Horizon again. Right, next up. Thorgal, the board game, which it passed me by. Crowdfunding and stuff for it. This is from Portal Games, and one of the designers, Joanna, I recognise as a designer of... You had it all in your head. Empires of the North, which I loved, and she designed a load of... She designed there's like the second expansion for Robinson Crusoe and stuff, which I didn't play that, but apparently came up with some amazing scenarios for it. So this is a storybook adventure game where we take on the roles of Thorgal, his wife and their son and stuff. But this is like standalone scenario, so it's not a big campaign thing. You will choose scenarios and chapters and play through like a narrative adventure trying to fulfill goals and things. But there is, as well as all of the narrative stuff, there's meant to be character development. We'll make choices and things. I don't think like kind of chapter to chapter choices, but yeah, there's character progression, and there is, I don't know if I can find a good picture of it, there is a system for combat that is based on... Is this going to show it me? I don't think it's showing me the board, but we will roll dice that have got polyominoes on them, and the dice that we pick will enable us to put these polyominoes on the thing that we're facing, whether it's a combat thing or some other like predicament we have found ourselves in, and this is the way that we're resolving it, not through like, although I'm a bigger fan these days of dice checks and roll to resolve and stuff, and this is a really cool way of handling it. New games, if they're not family friendly or don't have a solo mode, I don't really look at them. Yeah, like more and more, like with big Euro-y things as well, that like there's so many out there, and Rach like works a lot and has to do work outside of work, so yeah, isn't always up for playing a load of big heavy games all the time, especially like heavier games that she was never that bothered about. So things like that, they've got to have a solo mode these days. Hey Tommy Doo, how's it going? I'm feeling good, how are you? So yes, that's going to be available from Portal. Next up is Unconscious Mind, which is designed by Johnny Pack and Laskas and Yoma and Antonio Zax, but Johnny Pack is the name I recognise. This is a game all about us being Freud. We're not Freud, are we? We're Freud's like we're like people trying to win his esteem. We are psychiatrists trying to follow in his footsteps, and we are treating clients, interpreting their dreams. You're doing stuff with your clients, and you're doing stuff in the city of Vienna, and the artwork is gorgeous on it. You can see a bit of the cover there. Oh, it's got little minis and things. You can see stuff. This is a demo from last year, so it might still be with a prototype. You can see, yeah, there's the stuff that you do in the city, the stuff that you do with your clients. The dreams are interpreted with Mysterium Mysterium-esque, evocative art pieces. It looks really cool. I think it was a very successful Kickstarter. It's going to be available at Essen. I'm hoping to have a look at it some more. I know that there's going to be some kind of press room or something that's going to have all these things laid out. I think that if the preview's to be believed, I think all of these things are going to be available there. So we'll see. Next up, and again, because it is from designer Danny Garcia, Daitoshi, which is from Devere as well. I've been putting out some amazing Euro games. This is I know it won't have had many ratings yet, but it's a pretty weighty game. I know it takes place in the it's thematically tied to the worlds of Bitoku, which I still haven't played. I'll get around to one day, maybe. But yeah, mainly on here because it's a Danny Garcia game. We have finally perfected the power of Steam and can now use it to our advantage. We live in an unprecedented era of progress, and new Steam-powered inventions are developed faster than ever. Cities are growing, trade is flourishing, and we are developing our most ambitious machine ever, a giant contraption that will bring even more progress to the city. Yes, some trees are being cut down, and the river doesn't flow as plentifully as before, but there's still an abundance of trees and water, and we can use the extra space to expand our city. And it's not like the old creatures on those forests can do anything about it. So we are trying to, on your turn, you produce or move your magnate to a new district in which you'll be able to send your workers to work, command the exploit of forest or river hexes to fuel your endless need for steam, and perform an action to expand and show your greatness at city. They help in your search for acknowledgement, but help all the inhabitants of the big city. You will expand the city, electrify its districts, discover and develop new steam-powered inventions. It's got a 40-minute how-to-play video. Don't scare me off. Maybe there's a lot. Maybe there's a lot of bits to clarify. It looks beautiful. I don't know much about Bitoku still. I know that it looks beautiful though. But yeah, it could be a big, complex, heavy one. Hey, Rado's spoken about it. Is it not in here? Oh, this is just showing me reviews, isn't it? I think if your browser is small enough, it doesn't show you the full video. My browser is very narrow to fit in this gap right now, so it doesn't show you all of the normal video section. That annoys me, actually. If you're looking on Board Game Geek on mobile, it only shows you a review section rather than a general videos section. Oh yeah, that's the official Devere How to Play. 47.55. It's involved. It's complicated, then. I'm excited regardless, even though maybe it will just fry my brain. Next, another one that I talked about at the expo, Kronologic, which is from the designers of Turing Machine, which, hey, back to logic and deduction and stuff. I love Turing Machine. Kronologic takes the kind of basics of that system. So Turing Machine was like an analog computer. It gave you a load of questions to ask, and you fed it a 3-digit number, and it would tell you if it was true or false based on a particular query, and from that you would try and figure out what the 3-digit number is meant to be. Kronologic makes that more appealing to people that don't love cold, hard, abstract logic puzzles. Great, right? So there's going to be several boxes in different eras. The first one is Paris 1920, and we actually did play a demo of this at the expo. So I can get a nice picture with just components in. So, hey, here's the box bigger. So we have a story to set the scene. So, we're backstage in Kronologic Paris 1920. We are backstage in a theatre. You can see the map of it here. Everyone has these pads that's got 6 time periods on it, 6 people, and 6 maps. So the map is just repeated 6 times. You are told at the start of the time period where everyone was. So it was something like someone had been murdered in the story. God, it's been a few months. I don't remember it fully. Someone has been murdered, and the only time it could have happened was when the victim was on his own in a room with whoever killed him. So figure out who did it. So we have these characters. You know where they are in time period 1. And every time period, the characters will move one room over. You can see on your map how these lines connect all of the rooms up. On your turn, you will take a location and you can ask it about the character. So you pick a character, put it with that location, and you see how they've got little bits cut out of them. Because on the other side of the location, it's got a load of numbers and symbols and things. These are specific to like the case that you're playing. You pop it over and you have a look at it. And I think for the character, it tells you. So you're asking it about the character and the place. It will tell you how many times that character went into that place. How many time periods was that character in that room? And you tell everybody that. But then just for you, for asking, it tells you, like, I think one specific time period when that person was in there. And you can ask, instead of asking about a character, you can ask about a time period and put that with a location. And it will tell you, at that time period in this room, there were this many people here. You tell that to everybody. But then just for you, you get to see one specific character that was there. And so you can start to work out, like, every time somebody goes, you will get a bit more information. The question you're particularly asking is more. It will give you a bit more secret information, but you can start to work out. So for this particular case, it's not the same every time. Although, like, it is like a set story thing. It's not like Turing Machine that it's completely randomized. I don't know how many cases are in the box, but the stories will do different things. Just in this particular one, it was the killer was only ever alone with one person, and they killed him. So you start to figure out, oh, there was this many people in this room at this time. That person was only ever in here twice. So, like, how many times have I marked down? And every time period, they're going to move to a different room. You don't know which direction, but they're definitely going to move. So you can start to build up a picture. You know, oh, like in time period 1, they're in this room. In time period 3, they're in this room. So they must have gone through this room. So there's a lovely logic puzzle there, and you're trying to be the first one to be able to say, I in this case, I know who killed him. I've worked out in this time period, this person was alone with them. They killed them. It was great. I really enjoyed it. There's more cases in the box. Does it say now on the description? I think it must have been finalised. 3 different eras, contemporary, historic, and futuristic. Isn't that like the boxes? Every scenario can be replayed 5 times. There's like 5 different scenarios in a box. It was really cool anyway. I really enjoyed my game of it. It's going to be there. There's like Black Sonata. Yes, Black Sonata does it as well, yeah. You place card into another card and, yeah, it will give you information. I don't know, is there a picture of it showing you, revealing some information? Oh, here you go. So here's it. You're asking it about, like, I think that's the stage, that symbol. Okay, so the stage at time period 5. I tell everybody that at time 5, there were 3 people in this room. But I know that person B, they've all got names in the cases, but person B specifically was one of those 3 people. So I tell everybody that, but only I get to know this bit. And it's the same for the characters, but it tells you how many times they went in there. Essen will be the farewell party for Game Brew as well, and they've got some amazing stuff there. Like what was the last one that I did? I did Alligator Ink's going to be there. I thought that was a really cool idea. The expansion for Stroganoff Turrican. We'll get to that in there's a special category for all things that I've previously covered that are going to be there. Bone Wars was one. So yes, that's Kronologic. Next up is, where are we now? Is this number 5 now? I think this is number 5. Minos, Dawn of the Bronze Age, from Board and Dice. And Board and Dice, pretty good at putting out some big, solid, crunchy Euro games. Designer Stan Kordonsky, who is one of the designers of Dice Hospital, right? Designed Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria. He's done loads of things at this point. At this point, he is a man to watch. If he's releasing a game, it's probably worth checking out. Yeah, Dinosaur Spell. I'm pleased with myself when I remember things properly. Rurik, Lockup, Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria, Resurgence I haven't played yet, but I have got that on the way. That's I think it's getting printed again or something from Portal. Yeah, so I'll be able to tell you more about that. Endless Winter, Guild Academies of Valeria as well. And Nova Roma. I haven't played Nova Roma. But yes, so this is from publisher and designer that I say. So this has got, like, I was excited for this anyway, but I was watching Rodo talk about it, and Rodo is great for pumping you up about things anyway. But he was talking about how it's a 4X game. So we have got this world. This is only showing you like a bit of the map. Where's the rest of it? Show me the whole board. It's a 4X game, which usually have to be, unless it's kind of solo, have to be very wary about, because I'm not interested in one of those X's in a big way. But the extermination part in this, there is like some kind of invading force that is the fighting bit that we're doing. We're doing it against an external thing, not each other. So, great big Care Bear checkmark there. I'm into it. You draft dice to perform actions, and the dice, the color of dice that you choose progresses you along these tracks. And it's got a system from a game I hadn't thought about for ages and ages, Alia Iacta Est, where you place dice to do actions, but your dice can later be displaced by other people hoping to do that action. So in Alia, it was a bit risky whether you'd actually ever get to take something off. I'm advertising Thirst the whole time. I don't even know what Thirst is. This is the top of my video the whole time. Yeah, in there it was a bit perilous, because you would get a worse version of the action, or you might get like knocked off entirely. In here, it might potentially increase the bonus that you get, or give you a different bonus that will be much more beneficial to you. I'm very, very excited about it. Minos, it looks great. Resurgence and Nova Roma are very good. I think, yeah, I've definitely not played Nova Roma. Resurgence, as I said, I'm getting it, so I'm looking forward to it. We'll find out at some point soon, I think. I'll lock up as well, yeah. Care Bears, you don't misunderstand. Everyone universally knows Care Bears to refer to the best kind of board gamers, right? Is there another definition for it? So yeah, Minos. Next up. I wonder how many... Is this going to be on a lot of people's lists? I'm really excited for it. Until Proven Guilty, the Starry Sky Necklace, which I don't know if they're shying away from. It feels like they're kind of leaning into it, right? If you're a fan of Phoenix Wright, the video game, and why wouldn't you be? Because it's one of the best video games. This feels like card game version of that. Like, you know, it's not necessarily an escape room thing, but, you know, a deduction murder mystery co-op game. It's a narrative card game inspired by court-themed visual novels. Hey, that's what Phoenix Wright is. Television series and video games. You take on the role of Peter, a brilliant lawyer who's still a rookie. Sound familiar? Yet now involved in complicated criminal trials. Can you help Peter defend his client? Each turn, read the trial card and choose an evidence card to refute it. Enter the evidence number into the web app. App required. I don't mind that. I know some people do, though. And read the result. If it's correct, some jurors will side with you and you can continue. If it's wrong, some jurors will side with your opponent and you will have to try again. Depending on the evidence you choose, you may even receive personalised answers. I said this might like even be solely based on my love for the Phoenix Wright series. A lot of conversations and things. I mean, it's tempting to dream of like a retheme, right? Where they get in touch with the Capcom that make it. Are Capcom good guys? It's Konami that are the bad guys, isn't it? But yeah, I'm so excited just based on that. I do like, you can see, like I've covered, you know, like Chronicles of Crime and Detective Monochrome board game, and I'm into that kind of murder mystery deduction stuff as well. But yeah, the Phoenix Wright connection puts it into the upper echelons for me. Like a deduction breaks your brain and makes it into soup. Well, you might not need to deduce. You just might your opponent, your Edgeworth, might just beat you in the trial. Just say like the Phoenix Wright series might not be for you. If it's like it's not point and click adventure, but it's kind of like you've got to kind of work out a strange kind of logic sometimes to see what happened in some of the cases. Oh, thanks for being here, Stephen. I'm combining I'm using the first part of your first name and the last letter of your surname. We do a show before the WSBG finals. I hope they go well. Right, so yes, Until Proven Guilty, I'm very excited about. Next up, back to a designer we discussed earlier, Thomas Holek, who said is coming out with 3 games. One of them so far, Galileo Galilei, I thought was fantastic. This is a big, heavier game that I saw at the expo. I didn't get a full demo. I was just kind of I was given an overview of what it would be like. So we are again looking to the skies in a more modern setting, really. So we have got a board out here representing, the planets and asteroids and all of that stuff. A lovely plastic sun is going to be in the middle. I don't know if it is plastic. There's like a lovely glowing. I looked at a prototype, okay, but yeah, these things will rotate. So every round, the board will have like a number somewhere dictating which layer will spin. And so early on, maybe just the innermost one spins, and later on, disc 2, which would spin the innermost 2 along. You know what I mean? So you are trying to look at these very distant planets. You're searching for extraterrestrial intelligence. And so based on where you're looking, planets might be in the way of where you're trying to see. Asteroids might be in the way of where you're trying to see, making actions more expensive. It's not impossible, but you might need better technology, or it'll cost you more energy or something to look at. So that's the kind of core conceit there of your timing of when do you do these things? Are you willing to pay the price? Are you going to wait until the planets align? But outside from the innermost bit of the board, oh yeah, they're using rewood as well. They're using recycled components and stuff for it. So I don't know if it is plastic. Don't hold me to that. The sun in the middle. It's probably not. Oh no, replastic. It'll be replastic. There you go. The data tokens are replastic. You can see a bit more of the board. These are our personal board with energy to spend and stuff, special powers that we've got. But on the main board, so there are, once you kind of cast your gaze very far outwards, trying to find this extraterrestrial intelligence, there are a load of different planets that it could be. And if you can just kind of see them at the back here, and they will have tiles that relate to them. So we don't know what it is until somebody goes and discovers that thing. And then once it's discovered, we can start to observe it more, and it will have special abilities, special impacts on the game. There are a load of different things that we can research and make us more effective in our actions. It seemed very, very cool from the explanation I had at the expo. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And it's CG's big new Euro game for the year. And that's number 3. Number 2, which I'm a bit wary of now, but let's go back to pre-wary, Tom. Black Forest. Hey, I love Uwe Rosenberg. I love Glass Road. Who wouldn't love take a bit from Glass Road and make a big new game out of it? And this time, co-designer Tito Lorenz. I don't want to leave anybody out. So the things coming from Glass Road are the resource wheel. So, gaining resources, you tick up on this. Once you have enough of every resource on this side, your resource wheel automatically ticks over and makes one of these bigger resources. It looks like glass is still one. So you've got to manage your resources. You want to gain a load of things so that you will make that resource, but sometimes making that resource will cost you a load of other resources that you actually wanted. So it's all about timing and balancing this stuff. So that thing is coming over from Glass Road, but basically the rest of the game is completely different. You are not... I think there's still tiles and buildings and things that you're doing as well, but there is no card system, and if you've taken a card somebody else plays, you get to play it for free. All of that stuff is separate to Glass Road. In Black Forest, we have this great big action board here with tiles on it that are all grouped up, and you will go around visiting these places and taking actions in those locations, paying a cost if other people are already there. I think you can swap the tiles over as well. So if an ideal configuration isn't in that particular section, you can kind of convert it and make it so. It comes with cupcakes, apparently. So why am I wary now? because as a 2-player big Care Bear, like someone else I know, Rado has one. Rado has Black Forest. He's done with it. You can watch his run through of it. I'm still going to be getting it. I'm still going to be excited. There is still a solo mode to discover. But in the 2-player game, I think just as a balancing thing, so there is an action where you will move this merchant around. In the 2-player game, if you can really get like a picture of it, I should just ask permission to play Rado's video at this point and he can tell you. But there is a neutral thing that is added for a 2-player game, basically. And when you do a particular action, you decide where this neutral player goes. And that neutral player makes anyone who tries to go to that place, they have to pay more for it. So fundamentally, where do you send that merchant? You send it to where you think the other player is going to be. And I'm not saying that's going to be an easy thing to work out, but fundamentally, from a philosophy perspective, that's not going to work for us. I can tell you now that merchant either isn't going to get used or we'll just put it somewhere else, which we might as well not use it in that case. There's some, people have got suggestions for, maybe you just take it to the next clockwise place, or I think I saw a suggestion that was you gain something instead from it, so you actually want it to go somewhere you want to go. I don't know. We'll see. I'd ideally like to just play things as written, but I already know, based on what I've seen in there, that for 2 players, I'm scared that it's not going to work, which is a shame because, Glass Road is... I'm not saying my wife Rach is a fan of a lot of Uwe's games, but certain ones, like Glass Road, she is a fan of. So I was really excited at first for... big new game using a key mechanism that we like. But yeah, that's for 2-player big Care Bears is a big red flag that maybe it will overcome it and stuff. And if it doesn't, Glass Road's still there. It doesn't take anything away from it. And yeah, as I said, the solo game is there as well. I haven't played it at all. I haven't got one. Fräulein Spiel. Hey, reply to people. They ask you, not just for a land. Who made Unconscious Mind? Reply to people. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to trying it out. Maybe the solo mode is gonna make it a keeper as well. But yeah, I'm wary of how the 2-player is gonna work for us. Except for the solo mode, Monica. Which none of that stuff's present in the solo mode as well. I think it's just because it's just a weird balancing thing for. To tighten the thing up for 2 players because the map probably can't change. But yeah, there's a load of... There's some, in the forums, you can see some discussion of people actually trying to think of a way around this, and a load of, I don't see that as a problem. Fine then. Don't see it as a problem. We're talking about ways around it. If you do see it as a problem, which I do. Already. So, number 1, you might be able to guess already, because I've been on about it in the past, is Civolution, the big new game. Well, actually, there's going to be a few big new games from Steffenfeld, but the big new game that I didn't play in prototype form earlier this year. Oh, I did play this earlier this year. I didn't do a playthrough of it, though. Civolution! It is a very big, fairly heavy game from Steffenfeld, and it is a great big civilization building game from Steffenfeld as well. I think many departures in this, not that he hasn't done games on the heavy side or games on the big side before, but I think this might be the biggest, most sprawling, most ambitious, possibly. So in the game we have, these are our player boards, these great big things here. So on the left-hand side, you will put markers in these various spaces to represent goods that you've got. So there are goods of different colours and different rarities in those colours. On the right-hand side, these are all the actions that you can take. It's a dice placement game, so you will roll a certain number of dice at the start of the round, and there's a load of actions, but they are kind of grouped into... not completely like things, but they're grouped into columns. So you'll use pairs of dice to activate these actions. So you see, this one here in the corner needs a 1 and a 1 to activate. This one here needs a 2 and a 1. Am I right about that? Yeah, and then a 3 and a 1 and Yeah, they need pairs of things. It makes sense when you see the board all zoomed in. The things all line up with the pairs of dice that you need. There's dice manipulation a bit in it as well. There's some mitigation for that. There's an ability you can get that you can just use a marker as any bonus die. There are markers that you can get that will let you adjust the dice up or down by one, that kind of thing. So you're not completely beholden to the dice, although they will have an effect and you might have to plan your stuff accordingly. All of these actions as well are... I wish there wasn't an elastic band on my desk. I've been playing with it the whole time. It needs getting rid of. Right, there's all of these actions are on tiles as well. So at various points in the game, you'll be able to upgrade actions. They've got another side that's a bit more powerful, and then you take the tile out altogether to upgrade it a further time to make it even more powerful than that. So we have this action selection thing here. We have cards in our hand that will require like resources to be paid, us to be in certain situations, to put these cards out on our board that affect different categories and things, but they go in this slot above our board here. If you can see, like, can I find a picture of it kind of more in progress? There aren't a lot of pictures yet. You might imagine, hey, there's a more zoomed in view of the player board. You can see the actions there. You see, like, hey, one's here. This one needs a 1. This can be any 2 dice, actually. Then a 1 and a 2. This is a 1 and a 3, a 2 and a 3. So it goes up like that. See what I mean? So yeah, you're filling this with cards, and if you fill a whole row, you'll get a load of bonuses, and these relate to like income that you will get at the end of rounds as well. There is a map in the middle that activating various actions will have us moving around, discovering new territories, building things out on the board that will make our feeding easier, that will gain us more resources. There's a bit of knocking people out of, like, each space has only got room for so many settlers, so if you go in there and everyone's full up on these spaces, they get pushed out, and if you've been pushed out, you stay in there, but your food costs are more expensive. There can be like bad events that come up as well, and it's kind of, I don't want to say gameplay wise, but certainly like it reminded me a little bit of Gaia Project in the sense that, not for most of the gameplay, but in the sense that you see the scoring criteria for all of the rounds at the start of the game. There are also random events in this, but you do get, you see them at the start of the round. Because at first I was a little bit like, oh, I don't like this. But as we've played one game of this with Paul Grogan, who had a prototype when we were up there in June, I think. But yeah, you do get the whole round to like prepare for this thing that's going to happen that might lose you a load of stuff, that might want you to be in a particular place to get a load of bonuses. As I said, it's a great big sprawling thing. There's like deliveries that you want to make as well. There's tiles that you can get there, and you can put these deliveries up here to try and fill in these rows. There's a lot going on in it. But I'll say strangely, like again, we didn't get like the full like demo teach, but we got taught like just the basics by Paul, just the basics to get you start playing, and then every time a new element came up, he would then stop and say, hey, this is how this thing works. So it was just like a purely learning game, and there is so much you can go and do in this. But strangely, for like as heavy and maybe scary as I might be making it sound, like found pretty quickly that, oh, like I don't know like how to do well in this, but I don't feel completely lost. Like the action selection, the kind of short-term goal that I've got makes sense. I didn't feel lost in it, which I was worried that I might be, because there was like, obviously like there's a whole load of actions to think about, of symbols to learn, of references in these, like, it was prototype pages as well, but yeah, it went very smoothly, and I'm very excited to see the final thing, to get hold of a copy, to play the solo mode as well, because like, yeah, Rach came with me to Paul's, and so we played a 3-player game of it, which I don't think it's on the Gaming Rules channel, but if you're one of Paul's patrons, then I think you can still see that stream of us learning that. But yeah, very excited to play the final thing, and that's Civolution, the thing I'm most excited about. So what time is it? 9. We could have a little look at, like, I'll try and be brief about them, but shall we have a look at Tabletop Together? That's Tabletop Together. Okay, intrigues and scares you that you're going for heavier games now, though above 4 is still out of your league. Yeah, I think, I wonder if, like, generally, I think I'm gravitating to not light, but gravitating away from the heavier things. I'd still give them a go, though. Like, it wasn't that long ago I did 1862. It wasn't that long ago I did Europa Universalis. That's, I think, might be the heaviest game I've covered on the channel. What was that? 4.7. I'd be scared at, like, and I had to learn it in, like, 4 days or something. But yeah, it was very cool. But I think, like, my brain was melting out my ears the whole time. As, like, every now and then, I can go for it. But, yeah, midweight Euro is the sweet spot. So, here's my tabletop together classifications. So, basically, I don't know if I've gone through these before. What they mean to me, need is where I put the things that are in the top 10. Want is where everything else goes. Like is where I put the things that I've covered before on the channel and maybe did sponsored things for. Maybe is where I need to read the rules. Ignore is not bothered. And I said at the start as well, like, there are 1,200 games on this list. I am sure that plenty have unjustly been ignored by me in an effort to get through this list and try and stop me coming back with loads of games. Like, some of these I've got, some of these, like, I'm hoping that I'll get sent at some point. Like, some I'll need to get there, and as I said, I've only got a suitcase and a backpack. Civolution's huge. I don't know if much more will be coming back. Civolution and Black Forest might be the whole thing. I'll have to send some back. Hey Thomas, how's it going? I'm pleased to mention them. I've thoroughly enjoyed Galileo Galilei, and I'm really looking forward to SETI, and Tea Garden is going to be on here as well. So if we look at, so I said, want is the section where I put everything that wasn't in the top 10. So kind of unordered, just in alphabetical order here. Ada's Dream looked like a really cool, like, that was quite a meaty Euro game, wasn't it? Like, I didn't get a prototype of this. Oh, this is a 4. Collect dice from the workshop rondelle to manipulate on your personal engine board. I like the theme as well. Ooh, like some lovely art. Like, the theme is like women in the early days of computing, right? Work with Ada Lovelace to help build the first computer, fulfilling her dream in this alternate history Eurogame. Take dice from the workshop rondelle, give lectures in prestigious institutions, travel the UK and complete assignments from Ada, and using dice rondelle manipulation mechanics and literal engine building. Ada's Dream is part of the popular Alley Cat Games advanced line. I said I was going to be brief, didn't I? We're not. I can't do that. I'll be as brief as I can. Next up, AI, 100% human. Something that I had dismissed until earlier today when I was looking through some other people's picks. And this looks like a very cool drafting game. And it's got like a system. So like a Seven Wonders style drafting game, and we're trying to get the right symbols and combos of cards. But it's got like a... Here we go. Drafting with a reserve lets you better prepare your card combos and chains. Since you immediately score every card you play, this reserve lets you optimize your choices and place the best development card in the best place at the best time. So something about, we're not just purely passing the hands to each other. We have an option of kind of holding a card until later. Oh, and I can't actually show you any pictures of it. There must be a video of it. There's a video. It must be out in France. I can show you the visuals of Rodo explaining it. The videos of someone else explaining. I don't know. Have a look. It sounds cool. Yeah, short story long. That's what I'll go for. Acropolis looked cool. I put that Athena on because it's the new thing that is on the preview. But I haven't played Acropolis either. I had a quick kind of run through of it and the expansion at the expo. Hopefully, like, I'll be covering them at some point. It seemed like a nice thinky for a game that's 20 minutes long game. Andromeda's Edge looks cool. I wonder if I'm excited by everyone's huge boxes arriving and all of these like deluxe Kickstarter-y things. I haven't played. It's a re-implementation, right, of Dwellings of Eldervale, isn't it? which I haven't played myself because I think like I don't know if I'm wrong in it, but I feel like it was like too mean or maybe just too area control based or something for us at the time. Although I think there is definitely for Andromeda's Edge, there's a solo expansion, right? That might be the thing that I like more, because I think there's like still, it's like civilization building, right? But there's still area control. Yeah, there's still area of majority influence and stuff, which doesn't tend to work as well for us. I'm not saying that it can't work. I'm sure there's games we've enjoyed with it. You lead a desperate faction seeking to build a new civilization on Andromeda's Edge, beginning with only a space station, a few ships, and a handful of resources. By carefully placing your ships, you will gather resources, claim moons, acquire modules to add to your star station. Star station? You've just added a word. Populate planets and build developments on them. You will battle opponents. Can you not battle the opponents? Maybe that's the thing that... Maybe it wouldn't be for us. But it's a thing I need to find out, isn't it? Solo, I don't mind. I'll battle away in solo. Apiary has an expansion, expanding the hive, which I think, like... I think I'm right in saying it just doesn't add any, like, huge new things. It's just more of all of the stuff, which is cool, because I really enjoyed Apiary. Asian Tigers is new from Nuno Bizarro Sentiero and Paulo Soledad, who have designed Nippon. Why can I only think of Nippon? Panamax is what I was trying to think of, but also Madeira, like big, heavy What's Your Game games. There's some, like, one of those was getting like a deluxe edition, right? That's kind of been held up and stuff, but this isn't about that. This is about a new thing. The first new one since Nippon, I think. No, La Stanza was after that, wasn't it? I don't think I played La Stanza though. So Asian Tigers, big new meaty economic game. There's been like, I would think the ratings are something based on like this. There's a bit of a debacle about whether the cover's AI, and it seems like it's not now. I don't know. You're an investor sponsored by each of the Asian Tigers, the four Asian economies emerging from success in the 60s. Build power plants, research laboratories, sponsor universities, and establish factories that will produce resources with the purpose of serving local and, more importantly, international markets. You can see it is very economic Euro looking. Hey, Baghdad, the City of Peace, is, I think it's going to be their next game on Kickstarter, right, for Alley Cat Games, designed by Fabio Lopiano and Nestor Mangione, who did Darwin's Journey together, right? I know Fabio has done, I don't mean just from this, together they've done Shackleton Base as well, which we'll be talking about later. Fabio designed Merv, right, and Nestor designed Newton. Why don't you just click on it? Yeah, he designed Newton and Autobahn. Together they designed Darwin's Journey and Stupor Mundi, right, which I covered earlier in the year. They've designed great things alone. They're designing great things together now. And Baghdad, already, it's got a lovely cover, art by Roland McDonald. I know, big new Euro game. I don't know much beyond that. I imagine it's set in Baghdad, right? Set during Baghdad's golden age, players take on the role of viziers, looking to build their family's prestige and grow the great city of peace. Move your vizier around the circular city, collecting scientific equipment, teaching students and translating works. Each turn, play a card, pushing another card out of your tableau and triggering its ability. Build up sets of icons to pull off more difficult actions and plan ahead to complete upcoming objectives. Work together to build the Golden Palace, fill the House of Wisdom, and send ships down the Tigris. Sounds good. You need an F there, Alley Cat, if you ever see this bit. So, yeah, not much information yet, but you had me at, is that going to say the designers? Because basically what I would say. Then, next up, Boblin's Rebellion, which I do have. This is from, and kind of set in the world of Dungeon Drops. It's from Phase Shift Games, but it's a different designer, and it's not like Dungeon Drop. This is like a... It's not set collection, is it? It's like more a card-based, an engine building kind of thing. But using like the character Boblin from the Dungeon Drop games, and it's apparently like a really nice hidden gem that, like, it's in my things. It's on my things that I need to do shelf, but I haven't had any time to do shelf. But yeah, I hope to have a playthrough for it at some point. Castle Combo is getting a lot of buzz. Of like quite a crunchy, very fast playing game where you are just drafting cards and making a grid out of them, and they'll score based on what's in their row and column. I think it might be on Board Game Arena. Maybe I need to give it a go on there. Chronicles of Light, Darkness Falls, which talks about, like, this is one that I brought back from America. It's in Target in America. It's apparently going to be at Essen as well. So I could have waited, but I wouldn't be able to bring it back probably. It looks like a cool co-op game where you're playing as gem versions of the Disney heroines. It's got Disney and Pixar, Moana, Violet, Maid Marian, and Belle. Materializing as radiant crystal versions summoned into the realms, the heroines drive back shadows of infamous Disney villains and restore the realm of light. The team explores a brand new illustrated world and encounters familiar characters, items, and creatures on their quests. The game's diverse missions and modular board generate new adventures every time it's played. It seemed like a cool co-op to pick up. I'm looking forward to it. It's still on here because I haven't played it yet. Cities, basically, like, I think this might just have come out. A city building game from Steve Finn, King of the Filler, and Phil Walker Harding of Sushi Go, of Cacao, right? Am I saying that wrong? Not pronouncing it wrong, but am I attributing it to the wrong person? Of Joey Games. Yeah, I'm writing Cacao. Sushi Go, Cacao, Imhotep, Baron Park. Don't forget Baron Park. Super Mega Lucky Box, which I've looked, like, the times that we've been to America, I've always looked for this, because isn't that like is that in Target or something like that in America? I've never managed to find a copy of it. I've played it on Board Game Arena though, and we've really enjoyed it. So yeah, them collaborating is a cool thing. Claw Machine is on there purely because if I come across it, Rach loves claw machines and gacha machines and stuff, and I don't know much about the game beyond that, but maybe I'll pick it up and Rach might enjoy it for the theme. Conservas seems cool. Scott Olms makes great he designs all the Tiny Epic games, right? And this is like a solo only bag building experience, which Warp's Edge seemed really cool. I haven't played Warp's Edge still. I hope to at some point. I'm getting things right. Yes, he's standing right in front of Tiny Epic there. I'm right on Warp's Edge. So yeah, this seems like a cool fishing-based thing, right? Oh, you've got it, Monica. You played it. It's really nice. Maybe I'll be able to get it. Crime Unfolds sounds cool. Pop-up mystery game. I think there was like a steampunk one and one in a different setting as well. I like the sound of a pop-up game. I do like a nice murder mystery. Explore a mysterious manor full of secrets through 6 pop-up rooms where you will test your wisdom and detective skills. Investigate the crime scene as if you were in a miniature escape room. You'll be able to interact with objects and elements of the pop-up as if you were really there. Solve the case like a real detective. Sounds like a cool idea. Dead Cells, roguelike board game. I don't really know anything about the video game. I like roguelite stuff, although honestly they tend to be deck builders. Although actually, I played a lot of Hades. I don't tend to be good at video games that don't let you stop and think a bit. But yeah, this has been getting a load of buzz. It's based on the video game, but we're translating it into a co-op board game. Antoine Boza is one of the designers as well, and Ludovic Marblanc, and Théo Rivera, and Corentin Lebrat. It sounds cool. Deep Rock Galactic, love the video game, really enjoyed the board game. It's getting 2 big expansions that add kind of major bits of the video game in terms of character progressions and upgrades, and also different types of missions we can go on and biomes that change up the different kind of planets and terrain that you are arriving on and give the enemies special abilities and stuff. I might be getting some of that just from the video game. There's going to be some enormous new minis as well that we've got great memories of playing a ton of the video game. I would like a bulk detonator to arrive in the board game. They're all going to be there. Dwarf Romantic, I played a load of the video game, really enjoyed it. I haven't played the board game yet. There is a new one coming, Sakura, which I think I'm going to be playing at some point, right? I think it might be arriving at some point after Essen, but yeah, there might be a playthrough coming up of that, because I love the video game. Looking forward to see how it translates into a board game. Dreamworld, an Unconscious Mind card game, purely there because I'm excited about Unconscious Mind. Maybe I'll be excited about a card game based on it. Endeavour Deep Sea, So people's copies are arriving from the Kickstarter. I liked Endeavour. I did a video, right? I think I did a video for the Kickstarter for the special edition of Endeavour. Now it's got like a retheme. We are now like cleaning up the deep sea. It's got a very like ecological manufacturing to it. I think Marco was saying on the Discord, right? All of the insert in the deluxe edition and stuff is made out of this like fancy new recycled stuff. Yeah, the same creative team behind the smash hit Endeavour Age of Sail. This is set in a new area of nautical discovery, but use streamlined rules which will be familiar to fans of the original game. Hey, I'm a fan. I enjoyed that, right? And it would be like a lighter experience and set in a less heavy like theme. I'm up for it. I would really like to give it a go. It looks fancy. It looks deluxe, right? So that's Endeavour Deep Sea. Fighting Fantasy Quest. I don't know much about this. There's only going to be a demo there. But hey, I like fighting fantasy books. I've loved them for a long time, off and on. And it's not many pictures out yet. Has this had crowdfunding or it's coming up? So what would it be like to step into a fighting fantasy book? Warlock Firetop Mountain strictly follows the events of the original book, takes place through an extensive campaign, not a randomized dungeon system. It brings the book to life as an immersive board game. Encounter every monster, discover every item, and relive every thrilling scene, but with an exciting twist. The story has been expanded, offering new content and surprises at every turn. Even seasoned fans will find new challenges and adventures to discover. Up to 4 players, solo and co-op. It sounds cool. Please remember to like and subscribe, everyone. Hey, and you can support me on Patreon if you would like to do it, so I'm able to do the things. If you want me to bring more of these things back, your support would be a massive help towards that. You played the video game as well. Great, isn't it, Dwarf Romantic? Hey, Crimson Board Games. Are you going for the first time this year? Brilliant. I'm going for the first time in a long time. I think is this my 4th time going? This is my 5th time going, but I haven't been since 2019. So it's feeling like, I'm sure it'll start to feel familiar once I'm there again, but yeah, it's I'm anxious about it. It feels like I've never been. Flatiron is from the designers of the White Castle and the Red Cathedral. I haven't played the Red Cathedral, but I heard good things. I enjoyed White Castle. I didn't really enjoy the solo version of it. But yeah, Flatiron, probably worth a look because of that. Flow is also lists Johnny Packer among its co-designers, and it looked beautiful when it was on crowdfunding. I missed out, I think, was it like timing-wise? From covering it. But it looked very cute, very cool. Galactic Cruise, I've heard great things about. I know Paul of Gaming Rules has raved about it, and he's done a load of coverage for it, so he's played it a ton as well. It looks like, I mean, partly because, big Eurogame with beautiful Ian O'Toole graphic design. I'm up for it. But apparently there is an excellent Euro behind it all as well. Hey, there's all the wooden pieces in every copy. So we're, offering people a thing on a Galactic Cruise. Company goals, progress cubes. You're acquiring blueprints, constructing ships, attracting guests, and building developments. Connections between locations that increase action selection throughout the game. You'll be affecting resource markets that ebb and flow with the actions of all the players. I'm up for it. Hopefully, I'll get to play that at some point. I think it's only going to be... That was just on for demo, right? That's just on for demo. Harakiri Blades of Honor, I really like because, I'm interested in I don't know if it is like a dungeon crawly game. I saw someone say it was like a big battle-y game rather than, I don't know. But it's all based in Japanese mythology. And so, you play as characters with backstories, and you can choose missions that will expand on your backstories and make choices through the narrative stuff. You are trying to get, combos of dice. The dice-based skill system will allow for more powerful moves during your turn, giving passive or active effects to choose from. But beware, the more powerful a skill is, the harder it will be to use it again, adding a tactical layer to the game. Top fantasy writers writing for it. Sculptors, great big minis, all of that cool dungeon crawly stuff. Maybe it'll be another thing to go on my, hey, I'd really like to get this painted shelf. Oh, Spiel got it. It's a big battle game, but there's a solo campaign expansion. That's cool. I'd like to play the solo campaign expansion. Synergic Games. What's up? Get in touch. Horrified World of Monsters, another one that I picked up in America. It's horrified, but it's all Cthulhu-y stuff. So that's cool. House of Fardo, it's another one of like the small Vita Lacerda games, like spin-offs of the main series. An expansion for Imperial Miners is coming. Aztecs versus Wieldlings. In the footsteps of Marie Curie, there was in the footsteps of Darwin, right? I haven't played that, but it's another one that I was shown at the Hachette booth at UK Games Expo. Like, in the footsteps of Darwin, like, got nominated or won one of the Spiel prizes, right? But yeah, like, using, like, real-world information and knowledge and stuff, you are using resource management and transformation mechanics with a card-driven contracts. Resource distribution of pitch blend, uranium, and radium is done through a cube tower. Hey, I didn't know there was a cube tower involved. And retention or overproduction of these brings a set of surprises each turn. Players progress on a central board through Marie Curie's life timeline. The game ends when players reach the end of this timeline. Inferno is a big Dante's Inferno themed... Yeah, I don't think... Is that a dungeon crawly thing? I know there's minis and stuff. But I like a kind of horror themed game. I know, like, it's theming on, like, classical, like, poetry, right? It's a soul management game where each player must guide sinners to their respective circles in hell. The central board consists of two parts, one displaying all 9 circles and the soul registry, and the other represents Florence in the early 14th century, where Dante lived, with its power games and palace intrigues. So there is half where you're trying to advance souls through hell, and half where you're playing, like, a worker placement game in the city of Florence, and you're trying to expose sinners and get their souls to hell and stuff, so that you can be the best Infernoite. Inventions is going to be there, the latest to arrive Vita Lacerda game, the latest manufactured, finished one. I'm excited for any Vita Lacerda game. Hopefully I get the chance to feature it at some point. Minecraft Explorers, I saw as I was going through today. So it's like, what's the Minecraft theme? I don't know, I like Minecraft, but I like even more games by Matthew Dunstan. And it looks like it could be a cool, maybe it's going to be a bit light, but a cool quick card game, Minecraft themed, from Matthew. On your turn, you have action points to spend your which you can explore different landscapes to discover what's on the back of a tile. Pickaxes and swords make some explorations easier, so perhaps you want to get them. Try to uncover the treasure you need to win. Ideally, avoid monsters, because at the end of each turn you must reveal a monster card, and if it's already in play, your group will be overrun and more monsters will appear. Oh, it's a co-op as well. Yeah, I would agree. Horrified is more... I don't know about the Cthulhu one, because I haven't played it yet, but yeah, probably more Scooby-Doo kind of stuff. As like Dante's Inferno thing, I think is wanted to be full-on horror. Mini Dinosaur, there will be a playthrough of this. I was going to do... There's some games that I've got that, like, I can't do a playthrough for everything anymore. We need to finally realise that. And I've done some overviews for things that'll be coming up over the weekend, early next week. But Mini Dinosaur was so quick playing that I thought I'll just do a playthrough of it. So in this game, you have a hand of dinosaur cards, and the dinosaurs are going to have a race. Here we go. You have a hand of dinosaur cards, and you have a hand of betting cards. On your turn, you either have to play a dinosaur card, and you have to play the leftmost one in your hand, or discard one from the left and then play the next one. You don't get any more cards though. So when you play a dinosaur card, there are 5 different colours of dinosaur, and they're having a race. Every foot card that you play moves them a step forward in the race. Every banana card that you play takes a card away from the middle, so sets them back a step in the race. And so, yeah, that's determining the positions of all of these different dinosaurs. So you don't get much choice in what card you can play. You can see in your hand of cards, like, depending on the player counts, you can see like a third or a quarter of the knowledge of what might happen to these dinosaurs. And some things that you don't want to happen, you can stop by discarding some of the cards. Because your other choice, rather than playing a dinosaur card, you could play a betting card, and they range from like having loads of sets of different dinosaurs played. You want particular dinosaurs to come first or last or second. This one's like have the red dinosaur have exactly 1 or 2 cards played to it, all of that kind of thing. And you can play up to 4 betting cards during the game. 2 can be face down and secret, 2 have to be face up. So could be giving other people information, but maybe you're misleading other people to things that you know. It's a very, like, I know the explanation probably took longer than the game. It's a very fast playing, like, you play a dinosaur card or you play a betting card, then it's the next player's turn. In a 2-player game, because there's only 2 of you, so you would know half of the race each, there is a dummy player that just has 10 cards in a line and they play the next one on their turn. That's all they do to add some surprise to the race. And the race ends either when all the players can't do anything anymore, can't do a dinosaur or a betting card. So if you've run out of dinosaurs, you've just got to do a betting card. If you've put all your betting cards out, you have to play dinosaurs, even if it ruins your bets. You play until everyone's run out of actions to do, or 1 dinosaur has 5 cards played to it. So the yellow dinosaur here, the skateboarding dinosaur, that one has won that race. So any bets on that would be paying out. That's Mini Dinosaur. That's coming from Good Game Studio. Misfit Heroes, another Phil Walker Harding. I haven't looked at this, actually. Craft character cards. Has it got card crafting in it? With clever card play for cool combos to claim influence. Players are organising crews in hopes of claiming influence to win over the hearts and minds of citizens in nearby regions. The character cards players will use are different every time you play. Before a game, the cards you use are created by placing each character transparency together with an attribute card in a sleeve. You never know which new characters in the deck, and the combinations are almost endless. It's Phil Walker Harding's doing card crafting now. I'm into it. Get that on the... I need a new tier in between need and want, please. Mutagen is the new game from Dranda Games, and we'll talk about Dranda Games in the like section actually, because Explorers of Navoria, which I covered earlier in the year, is coming out. This is going to be their next Kickstarter that's going to be launching in the near future. Designed by Alexandros Kapadakis, and this features worker placement where the workers do different things based on where they're placed. Whereas, like, to go all the setting of the theme, I don't want to skip past it all, but I don't want to read you like a load of paragraphs when I'm trying to be quick. It's a customizable worker placement game set in a 1920s biopunk universe. Each player has 4 workers that each react differently to the areas they're placed in. Each time a player places a worker, they will activate the location's action and an additional action determined by the worker's colour. They can unlock the full potential of biological upgrades by infusing their workers with biological upgrades that will grant them a decisive edge over their opponents. Each location has been forever transformed by vast bio-enhanced changes. Collect elements from floating cities, trade them for objective cards, establish dominance over particular elements, or harness their energy to upgrade your airship. It sounds cool. I don't know how much. There's some pictures from the expo. We didn't get a chance to see it. Oh, that was a big zoom in. But there we go. I'll hopefully have more to report back afterwards. Little Dinosaurs looked like a cute little game. Was that the one? I'm thinking of God Loves Dinosaurs. Is the one that I did a playthrough for. I say, Mini Dinosaur, it's a pretty fun idea, right? It's like a... Let's say, it's a really fast thing that you probably like have a few rounds of. Looking forward to, like, we haven't been able to meet up for like big, like I feel like it would work better with more people as well, like a big 4-player count. There's another game as well, Mesos. There's a new one from Cranial Creations. It's a really cool card drafting kind of game, but again, I think would work a lot better with more players. That's worth checking out. Neko Syndicate is another one on here because it's Danny Garcia, but I think this is like a smaller game. It's not like a great big Euro, right? Yeah, it's like a small box card game, and it's like, according to Board Game Geek at least, it's one of its main mechanisms is pick up and deliver that I'm not particularly fussed about, but it's Danny Garcia, so might be worth a try anyway. Nekojima is another one that we saw at the expo, which is a dexterity game where, so try and remember this, you have got all of these sticks of different sizes, and each pair of sticks has a string between it, and you will roll the dice, and it tells you the two different colours where you have to place these two sticks in. And you either start new piles or you have to go on top of existing sticks. But the theme of the game is that you are trying to power an island for cats or a city for cats. So these bits of string are actually power cables and they can't touch. So you need to orient them in some particular way, or they wouldn't touch if you stack them higher, but you don't want everything to collapse. So there's that dexterity element of it, and every now and then, I think like cubes will come out of the bag, and sometimes they will tell you that you have to hang it. I don't know if you can see it in the picture. Sometimes you will have to hang a cat. A cat will be climbing the electricity poles. The electricity poles can't touch, of course, the wires. They can't touch because then there would be an electricity disaster. But sometimes the cats dangle from the poles, making it more difficult to like you have to pass things under and stuff. It sounds cool. Is Jima SETI as well? I can't remember. I'm forgetting the little bit of Japanese that I managed. Next Station Paris is on here because in our run a couple of months ago of playing tons of games on Board Game Arena, finally played the Next Station games. They are fantastic roll and writes. There's London, Tokyo, and Paris now, I think. I just massively encourage you to have a go on Board Game Arena or pick one of these up. They're fantastic. Phoenix New Horizon, I don't remember putting on the list, honestly. Well, there'll be a reason, probably because it's a midweight Euro. It's got a rating of 9.2 right now. That's pretty good. Eurostar board game in which players assume control of a team of commandos tasked with the mission of recolonizing Earth. Throughout the game's 4 rounds, players accumulate victory points by constructing regenerators and buildings, bolstering the planet's population, and achieving diverse objectives that vary between playthroughs. Players must adeptly allocate their commandos to various actions throughout the game, whilst also specializing them to enable more potent abilities at the expenses of versatility. Fulfilling missions assigned by the governing authorities yields additional actions on a player's turn. Onojima means nutriment, wholesome, savouriness, rich food or nourishment. So cat nourishment. See, I remember, like, I don't know the kanji, but I remember I'm going to say katakana, it's not. Hiragana, right? I remembered them. It's not all left my mind. Well, I only did it for about 9 months, so probably not that much went in. Pirates of Maracaibo, I still haven't played. Like a lighter, streamlined Maracaibo that plays in 30 minutes. Oh, wow. Maybe I do need to give it a go. But there's an expansion coming for it. Now you represent a notorious ship commander or feared captain whose special abilities bring even more tactical finesse to the game. You can now equip your ship with cannons to gain access to the fortifications of certain islands because there are riches to be found too. It takes Pirates of Maracaibo to a whole new level. Cool. Maybe I need to get on it. Planet Unknown is a fantastic polyomino laying game, and it's getting a big expansion. I can't remember what comes with the expansion. The base game came with so much. Supermoon Super Puzzle. The moon comes equipped with a 3D satellite mini to help clear meteorites in a unique way. You can even choose to deploy a rover on your moon. Extended gameplay. Extend the games up to 80 minutes. Salvage tiles. Split polyominoes. There's a resource and a meteorite. Instead of drafting from the Susan, you may choose to place any 2 of your salvage tiles, placing them together or apart, and new planets and corporations to mix and match into the base game. I loved it. Oh, you can demo the expansion at Essen. Rajas of the Ganges. Rajas of the Ganges. Enjoyed the big main game. I enjoyed the dice game. Now it's getting a card game. I think more lovely Euros should go for the trilogy. Like, I think that's happened now with... I think Istanbul's done that, right? Castles of Burgundy definitely did it. Why not? Go for it. I didn't enjoy the dice game of Castles of Burgundy. I love the card game, though. I go back and see my video of the card game. It's the first video I ever did. It might be a bit shaky. But hey, That guy decided to make a video one day. Look where it all ended up. So yeah, basically, I know that it's a card game version of Rogers. I don't know why I've clicked on it. That's all I know so far, and the description won't tell you much more than that. Resurgence we mentioned earlier, another one from Stan Kordinsky. It's Portal Games are going to be selling it, and it's like, what did I have to say about it? I think I just said yes because it's Stan Kordinsky, really, and it's supposed to have good solo mode. Competitive Euro style game offers a bag building is what I was going to say. So when I saw deck building, I thought, I don't remember it saying deck building, but it's that's a one mechanism for deck, bag, and pool building. A competitive Euro-style board game offering a unique blend of bag building, hidden worker placement, and resource management that creates a one-of-a-kind gameplay experience. Sounds cool. Revenant, this is going to be available to demo from Mindclash, a new game in the Voidfall universe. So graphically, thematically, it's tied to Voidfall, but gameplay-wise, it's nothing like Voidfall. So, hey, I like the world of Voidfall. Voidfall was, I think it was my second favourite game of last year, right? I need to play it again. It's been ages. So I don't like it. This might be one where I'm thinking solo mode, which it will get eventually. I don't think it's got one right now. It's going to be crowdfunded, I imagine, in the near future. Standalone competitive worker placement game of shifting allegiances set in the Voidfall universe. Players take on the role of rival admirals, coordinating the defense of a fleeing Starfleet and competing to earn influence with the factions that stand to survive the journey. I mean, thematically, not board game wise, but hey, that sounds like Battlestar. Or as Battlestar the board game. I mean, I say I'm not interested in it. When we first got into board gaming, and it was just a game you could buy, it wasn't like worth hundreds and hundreds of pounds. We bought Battlestar. We never managed to get it played. We nearly did once, but I think someone didn't turn up, or we had to start too late at a game group or something. We never managed to play it. Probably for the best though, because knowing what we know now, I don't think we would have liked it. Not into, like semi-co-ops, traitor games. We played. There was a game that was based on Battlestar, but it was like dice-based. It was smaller and faster, but I feel like somebody made Fast Battlestar, but then a company published it, but obviously without any of the Battlestar stuff. I can't remember what that was called. We played that at a game group, and hated it. I think that was like there'd been inklings from other games in the past. But whatever that game was called, Dark Moon? Is it called Dark Moon? I'm getting off on a tangent here, but yeah, that's solidified. Hey, we hate traitor games. The Voidborn's corrupted forces will continually attack the fleet, dealing damage to various ships. You can take part in protecting the fleet by destroying enemy ships, repairing friendly vessels, or manoeuvring them to safe areas, or activating your hyperdrive to jump to a safer sector. Regardless of your efforts, there will be casualties. You have to make sure the houses you have influence in are protected above others. Spices up resource management and engine building of a midweight Euro with dynamic tactical challenges, constant player interaction, and shifting allegiances. Is there going to be positive interaction? Yeah, that's asking. Any thought given to co-op? Because as much as I love Voidfall, and it's one of my favourites of last year, the solo mode is my favourite thing. I have no interest in the competitive mode. I hope one day to play it co-op. I don't think that will ever happen. I don't think Rach is bothered about learning such a heavy game, which I don't blame her for. But yeah, the solo thing is what I loved, so it might be solo that I look for in Revenant. I don't know if it's going to have like shifting allegiances and constant interaction. Sometimes somewhat to put me off, but we'll see, won't we? Thanks, Mikhail. Good night. There's a Lethal Weapon 5 in the making, is there? Mel Gibson's all forgiven now, isn't he? Always surprises me. It's been years now. Rogers of the Ganges. That should be the next one. They've done cards, they've done dice now. Rogers next time. We're nearly at the end as well. Rock Hard 977, I've talked about a load. It's designed by Jackie Fox, who is one of the Runaways, a literal rock star, has designed this game. This is on the way, actually. It's probably not going to get a playthrough before Essen now, because it's arrived too late. But afterwards, there'll be something for it. We're trying to rock out. Hey, your dials go up to 11 in it. It's like the story of a rock band. You are going out, practicing, going out in the road, hanging out, and living a rock star life Rolling Realms Redux. I enjoyed Rolling Realms when it came out. I feel like I've missed out on a billion expansions for it at this point, and now I'm scared at the wealth of things I would need to get. But I do have Rolling Realms Redux, which I know has got a box big enough for all of that stuff. But I think it's got new stuff as well in it. We'll be playing that soon after Essen. Shackleton Base is another, like, it's designed by Fabio and Nestor that we talked about earlier. This is in a big, heavy, potentially, or it might be too heavy, a game. It only says 3.75 here. We'll see, though, of not space exploration, but building structures on the moon, settling the moon, and that kind of thing. Speakeasy, which I think has just launched, is Visa Lacerda's new game that I don't know anything about. I know I like the theme, I like the art, but I always like the art. And I'll have a look at it in Essen, I suppose. Stamp Swap is a I cut you choose kind of game of stamp collecting. Is that I can't remember the whole word. It's not philandering. Philately? Philatelists? Is that what stamp collectors are? Station to Station. Another game involving Johnny Pack and Steve Aramini, who is the designer of Fliptown, of... terrible to remember. I feel terrible now. Sprawlopolis and Neteropolis, all the Opolises. Yardmaster. I remember that. Circle the Wagons. Done loads of great things. They have teamed up on a pick 'em deliver style game, which again, not a favourite genre, but designer-wise and publisher-wise as well. I like that game's put out great stuff. I'm still into it. There's us going station to station. And, hey, there's those guys again. Stevens, looks good in Euroi. Suna Valo, which is thematically tied to Planta Nubo from last year, but it is a 2-player only card game, which I was having a look at Board Game Ramblings video. They've got this and have done a review of it that you could go and check out. I think one thing, so it hasn't got a solo mode, I don't think. It's not listed on Board Game Geek as having one anyway, is it? One of the key things to it is that you are trying to build up... Is there a picture of just like a player board? I don't think so. Sorry, I keep scrolling up and down and you have to see it. You basically have a player board with slots underneath it, and you're trying to gather up these cards so you will generate more and more resources of that particular type. And some cards... Oh, here, maybe the back of the box picture. So you can see there, you've gathered cards underneath that mean you generate more of a particular resource. You also have 3 cards at the top of your board that are cards that are for sale to other players. And you put resources on them to dictate the cost of those cards. So, in a kind of Isle of Skye kind of way, you are setting the price of these things, either trying to stop players from being able to buy them so you can buy them yourself, or trying to make players pay things you want them to pay so you can afford something else. Yeah, it sounds like a cool system and stuff, but if I remember correctly, Rachel didn't like that about Isle of Skye. And as a 2-player only game, I'm sorry to put the blame on Rachel all the time. There's plenty of stuff I'm arsey about. But yeah, for that particular thing, Rachel went into that, so I don't know if I would pick up Suna Valo, because, hey, Marty would play it still. It could still potentially be a playthrough. Scarbray, oh yeah, Scarbray and the Anarchy as adverts. I don't mind that coming up as an advert. Hey, see my playthroughs, everybody, of Scarbray and the Anarchy. I won't give an opinion as I was about to, because I was paid to make those playthroughs, but I wasn't paid to make any of the Hadrian's Wall things, and you can see what I thought of Hadrian's Wall. So imagine that elevated. Right, Suna Valo, yeah, we've talked about that. Tea Garden, another game from Thomas Holek. And this is worker placement, but one of the main resources is tea. And it's got like a... I'm trying to think of deprecating, like a decaying currency in this. The key elements are deck building and worker placement. The most intriguing is the resource management. You pay with tea leaves. They can be green or black fermented. The value of green leaves decreases every round, but the value of black leaves increases. But you can't gain black leaves. You change green leaves into black leaves. This simple mechanism is vital to the unique dynamics of the game that it's so easy to fall for. I'm very into it. I said, like, so far, I'm very excited for SETI. I have played and loved Galileo Galilei. Thomas is coming out of the gate with 3 big games this year. Is it the Artist of Chai? I'll have a look. No. Barbara is this is their first credit on Board Game Geek, but yeah, it does look beautiful. I mainly focus on illustrating travel books and guidebooks. I've personally travelled the world, and when I can, I also work as a guide in my favourite destinations. I have a great interest in Asian culture, specialising especially in Japan, but I'm open to all projects and ideas that could enhance my illustrations. If you have a look at some more art that's in it. I think Rado's done a run-through of this as well. I haven't seen his run-through or his thoughts on this one. But yeah, it is a gorgeous-looking game. These pieces, they're lovely photos as well. MG Board Games, well done. Are you the publisher, MG Board Games? You're not, are you? No, it's the publisher Albi? You would take me back to the main page. Yeah, Albi is the publisher. The Glade. I saw there was a new Richard Breeze game. Richard Breeze designed all of the key games. It's on the list. The Mandalorian Adventures is a cooperative, like, storybook-based game. I didn't see until I put it on this list, because this kind of lists all the mechanisms in a handy way. Thanks, Tabletop Together Tool. The Traitor game is part of it. Hate Traitor games. I would pick this up because, you know, like, Star Wars-based narrative game, I'm into it. I haven't seen The Mandalorian. There's nothing, like, particularly preventing me from seeing it, rather than time and general. I'm not against it. I'm just not bothered. Maybe I'll see it eventually. I've seen too much chatting about it. I'm watching the X-Files right now. It's great. I always loved the X-Files. But I realised, like, I'd only seen it on... You used to come out... Hey, kids, pull up a chair. Things used to come out on VHS tapes. You used to get 2 episodes of the X-Files. Often unrelated sometimes. And they didn't even bring out whole series and stuff. Realised there's so much of it I've never seen. Yeah, The Mandalorian. Maybe I'll still try the game. I'm sure the game is still playable if you haven't seen the TV series, but you'll probably enjoy it more if you've seen the TV series. So it's that Tea Garden is the simplest of the 3 games as well. Well, I'm hoping to get them all and be able to report back. Does sound very cool. I think I saw, actually, was it on Instagram or something? I saw CGE, like, because they've got their factory so close to where they are, they manufacture their games, like, right before Essen. Like, they were manufacturing, like, they were cutting the main board for SETI. It was really cool to see. Timeless Journeys is going to be available to demo there. This is from Lyris Games, who published Age of Comics, which I covered in the past. And this is, I think I talked about this a bit at the expo. I'm going to be covering this for its Kickstarter in a few weeks, I think. Have they said when the Kickstarter is? It's coming up soon anyway. Embark on a captivating journey through the Italian peninsula of the late 18th century, inspired by the historical Grand Tour. This immersive board game invites players to delve into a world of art, culture, and intellectual pursuits. It sounds pretty cool. I'm going to be doing an overview for it, I think. Trying to remember, keep everything on track in my mind. Valheim, the board game. It is designed by the designer of Deep Rock Galactic. He did a great job on that. He's also designed something else as well a while ago, I think. Maybe it's Meeples and Monsters, I'm thinking. Police Precinct is what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking, oh yeah, I've seen Champions of Midgard, I haven't played it. I saw Meeples and Monsters, I haven't played it. Police Precinct. I love Police Precinct. I always wanted to get Police Precinct 2nd edition. I had the 1st edition and I was always jealous that the 2nd one existed. And then I think it was one of the things that didn't make the cut when we moved. And now I wish that I'd kept my 1st edition, because now I've got no edition of it and I fancy playing it again. Back to Valheim, though. I know it's a popular video game. I think, has Rach got it and has played it? I haven't played it. I think it's like it's a survival-based game, right? 1 to 4 player co-op board game in which survival depends on teamwork and strategy. Gather your fellow companions and venture forward to explore, build, collect resources, forge weapons, equip sturdy armor, battle enemies, and carve your path towards facing the ultimate evil. Hey guys. Video game champion. Here we go. Last alphabetically. Transport yourself to the early 90s to be the 16-bit video game champion. So this is coming in English. It's coming from Arcane Wonders, I think. Another publisher has got... Yeah, Arcane Wonders. Another publisher has got it there in different languages, in a few different languages as well. But I think it's Arcane Wonders that are doing the English version. Transported to the nostalgic setting of the early 1990s, where they step into the shoes of children, balancing multiple activities such as earning pocket money, studying, and immersing themselves in the captivating world of 16-bit gaming. From flipping through video game magazines to renting games, asking your parents for gifts, and spending hours pushing buttons, the game captures the essence of that era. It sounds pretty cool. Hey, I was nearly one of those. I wouldn't have been... Mid 1990s would have been my setting, probably. But hey, I did those things. Renting games, kids. I think that's... Oh no, Wandering Galaxy as well. That's going to be a real demo. That's on there because it's a new Crossroads game, and they haven't always worked, but they've tended to more than not, haven't they? Quickly, because I'm meant to be ready for Taskmaster, and I wasn't meant to go on for 2 hours, but I go on, don't I? I try not to. I'll very quickly, because these are all games that you can search on the channel, and I have done some kind of video for, and so they're kind of in the, like, I was paid to do a thing for this, I think, or I've got copies, and they'll be coming up. Age Contrived should have been in the want section. That's gonna have a playthrough at some point. It is in my waiting for time shelf. Age of Comics is going to be there again from Lyrics Games that I mentioned. You're trying to publish new comics in that golden age, and you can rip off other people's comics and make a, like, not well regarded by the fans, but it'll still make some money version of it. Algae Inc. that had a really interesting conveyor belt production system. Like, you are trying to make all these different products out of algae. If that's like the main board, isn't it? If you can see, like a player board, you have all these sections here that's like you will convert it using actions to usable products from starting out with algae, but you can upgrade all these different parts of your factory that will make you fill in bits on this board, and they will turn into parts of your factory that make your conveyor belts more effective. I explained it better in the overview. I'm trying to work from memory here from a prototype. Ascendancy was a cool, like... I'm wrong in thinking like 4X. Where you had a load of these game trays that... Again, I'm trying to go from memory for over a year ago. But you had all of these game trays that represented the different actions in the game. And you had different... Excuse this white flowing screen, everybody. Here it is. You're trying to reclaim your family name through a hero's journey spanning multiple generations. Yeah, you're going through the districts in order, and you can, like, recruit new people to your cause. You can go and gather resources. You're trying to, like... That's a player board, isn't it? You're, like, going and fighting different things. You are trying to, like... You're trying to build new things. You are leveling up your skills. Where's like a all-in-one picture? Hey, look at that dice tower. And you're exploring the lands and putting these hexes out and things, aren't you? I'm remembering now. There was a lot out there when it was all laid out. But it's like, it worked out very simply, like you just went through these different phases of things. I did an overview for that, didn't I? Bone Wars is about the Bone Wars that apparently really happened. Competitive paleontology. Cascadia got translated into roll and writes, and they worked great. Crown of Ash was like a area influence game that I did an overview for. Dungeons of Doria, I think that I did a playthrough for that. Was it an overview of it? No, I think I did a playthrough last Essen. Europa Universalis, because I mentioned, like, I didn't do something for the expansion, but I covered the, like, a solo scenario of the base game. I think it's the heaviest, most complex game I have ever covered. It's kind of broke my brain a bit, but it was very satisfying. And yeah, if I had a ton of time to dedicate to one immense game, it'd be really cool to play a full, like, over 9 hour session of Europa Universalis. Like, I think people are playing it at a convention. I got invited to a convention by some fans that saw the video that I think are kind of nearby me, that we're going to be playing it over like 2 or 3 days at a convention. It sounds intense, but great if you're into it, isn't it? Explorers of Noria, I mentioned, it looks beautiful. Fateforge takes the dice mechanism, the dice combat mechanism from Vengeance, and translates it into the Fate Fortress thing as an RPG universe, and makes it a whole like app-based narrative choice game. And then every now and then you'll have combat scenes that are Vengeance, the game I just said. I've said a lot of things. I'm breaking down now. Fliptown. Hey, I mentioned that. It's a fantastic flip and fill Western game. It's going to be there. It looks like it's there in German for the first time. The expansion for Hamlet added lakes and fishing and stuff. Oranienburger Canal is coming out again as just Canal from a different publisher. It could be more widely available, I think. Kathmandu, another new Stefan Feld game. You can see I did a playthrough for that and the other one earlier this year. That was like a dice-based race game, wasn't it? Kraftwagen, that's one of the very early playthroughs I did in the channel for the original Stronghold Games edition. I think another publisher did it before Stronghold, and then Stronghold republished it as the V6 edition, which I think is what I did the playthrough for. But it's coming out again from Arcane Wonders and another publisher. They have, I think the gameplay's been tweaked a bit, but the artwork and stuff has all been completely redone, and it's Kraftwagen Age of Engineering now. Luthia, you can see my playthrough from earlier in the year. We're making instruments and stuff for patrons. Hey, Mesos, I mentioned that. Mine 77 is a new worker placement game coming from Dragon Dawn Productions. It's related to Factory 42. Right? Am I right in saying that? Yes. It's a prequel to Factory 42, simulating the inner workings of Odrixia's largest mine. It's here that the valuable resources are gathered for the factory. As you play the game, you experience the hard work, cunning, and outright shenanigans required to become a successful overseer at Mine 77. Luthia and Lacrimosa back to back, making the stuff and then performing it. It sounds good. Nassau is the other new Stefan Feld game that I think repurposes, reimplements Rum and Bones, which is a game that I didn't play before. Yeah, this takes that and adds new things onto it. You can see a playthrough that I did for it earlier in the year. Nocturne is a interesting kind of bidding game where we are these forest spirits trying to collect magical forest items in a round. Like, a player will start the bidding, like, say, with their 1 token on this tile here. The next person in bidding has to use a higher numbered tile that they still have remaining, but they have to bid for an adjacent tile. So it's this interesting auction system that you are still bidding up, but you have to bid for something different. And if you can get the auction kind of trapped in a corner, you automatically win it. So there's like a lot of mind games based around that as well. See, I think I did an overview for that originally. Pillars of Heracles. I did the rules video for this. A game of like majority and stuff of getting the favor of the gods, of building up in ancient Greece, of gathering resources and trading as well. You could use cards as resources, you could use things on the map as resources. There is also a playthrough that I did where we taught the game for the first time and then played through a 4-player game on the Game and Rules channel that you could check out as well. That's going to be available to demo from Grand Gamers Guild. Then Raising Robots is like a mashup of Wingspan and... can't think of the game that it mashes it up with. But I did a playthrough for this where you are trying to assemble different robots. And every time you gather a new one, based on the energy that you are making, you define certain... actions that you're going to make happen. So it's a bit, Race for the Galaxy. Yeah, you are defining certain phases that are going to happen in the round, and based on which phases kick off, you are trying to generate energy that can be done with permanent bonuses or spending it off your track. And depending on the amount of energy you've generated, you can be more powerful in that action or activate various robots that you've placed out there previously. Like if Fabricate happens and you've put loads of robots in the fabricate action, like this person has done, then with the right amount of energy, all of those things could kick off, and you can upgrade them further so that the more powerful ability of those robots will be used as well. That was really cool. Stroganov, I did an overview, right, for Turrican, the expansion to Stroganov. The Fog, did I do a playthrough of that? I did an overview of it. We're trying to escape the fearsome fog that's coming after us all. Like, limited spaces available on these rafts, and the fog is ever encroaching, and there's a puzzle of how to like move the people on the beach to get to these rafts before time runs out. Windmill Valley, another one that I covered earlier, I think just after the expo, right, from Danny Garcia again, but it's advertised as like a lighter game, but lighter compared to maybe some of Danny's other games. You have these player boards with these cogs in here. Every turn you will move the cogs so much and pair up different kinds of actions, and you can upgrade. You can put upgrade tiles in there that change how your cogs work, and you're trying to build windmills, you're trying to fulfill contracts, get helpers that will allow you to do more powerful things. Move around in this market as well and generate stuff. That's your player board there. You're trying to get flowers and fill up your garden for bonuses and points at the end if you can fill up rows and columns with. I think you got to do rows of different things, columns of the same color is ideally what you would like in it, I think. Remembering that correctly. And the windmills will give you access to scoring for certain types, certain colors of flower, if you can get those windmills off your board as well. It was really interesting. And I think going over time, but that's most of the stuff I wanted to talk about. I think there's some maybes and stuff that I still need to look at. There's some, as I say, I've probably put stuff in ignore that I definitely shouldn't, and maybe I'll come across them there. Maybe you can let me know what I have missed off on there, because as I said, there's 1,200 games that I'm trying to desperately plow through somehow. So there we go. I will be there for a lot of the time, I think. Next week, hopefully checking some of these out, hopefully bringing some of them back. Let me know if there's something you're really excited for, because there's other stuff that I'm kind of on the fence about whether to bring back or not. Like I said, I can't afford all of these things for a start. I haven't got the space to bring them back, so I'm going to have to be dead picky, and we'll just see how it goes. If you are going, I'll say again, because I only said it at the very start, there is meet and play happening on Saturday afternoon. It's just here, upstairs at the entrance to Hall 3. I think I remember that. I don't think I've been up there, but I remember that place. I remember that entrance all those years ago. From 2 p.m. onwards, you can come and meet a load of YouTube people. Here are the various times that they will be appearing. Here are their various iconographies. But at 3 o'clock, there is, you might say, a consortium of UK people head in there. Ninja Geek, Gaming Rules, Not Board Gaming, Broken Meeple, Whose Turn Is It Anyway? And hey, that guy, Slickerdrips, is going to be there. I'm going to be there. I think it's 3 till 5. And yeah, there's the guys from Rainbow might be there. I mean, I'd go to see them. And you can see other people. Board Game Ramblings are going to be there from 4. Man vs. Meeple are going to be there from 5. Hey, 5 games for Doomsday is going to be there at 2. It's picking people out now. Hey, maybe I'll run into them. Although there'll probably be people. This for. Hey, I can just be a fan of 5 games for Doomsday and go and say hi, right? So there we go. That's going to be happening on Saturday. That's a place you can definitely find me. Although I'm probably going to be, as I said, running around from booth to booth, or hiding in corridors, or like trying to sneak off probably to go and be anxious somewhere. We'll see how it goes, right? Traveling alone, going to a strange place for the first time in ages. Yeah, mixed emotions, but I'm sure it'll be great. It's next week, isn't it? I will report back. I am going to do, I saw you said, was it James said earlier? I saw it and forgot to comment on it about streams and videos. There will be some kind of stream. I don't know if maybe I'll try and do a whole stream. I suppose it depends on connection and stuff and whether you can hear me. I'll probably try it out. I'll see how it goes. I'll definitely be filming some in the hall stuff. Maybe I could do a live stream like one of the nights or something, and give you a quick show of what I've brought back. We'll see how it goes. I'll try and do some streamery stuff. We'll see. I suppose they're running to an Olympic champion equipped with a live camera. I mean, that's, yeah, if there's any Olympic champions about. If there's any people with any upper body strength that would like to carry a load of games for me, that's probably another area where I'm going to fall apart. We'll see how it goes, right? I can't lift too much. I really hurt my arm earlier this year, and it's only just getting better. That's going to be another thing too. But it's all going to be good into board games. We'll see them. Thanks everyone for being here. Hope you enjoy some of the brief videos that are coming up next week. Then there'll be things from Essen. There might be streams and things from Essen. There's going to be no board game like streams here because I'll be there. So they'll probably be the week after. I'll have a weekend at some other point, I imagine. I don't know when. That's a problem for future tormentors. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Enjoy Taskmaster if, like us, you've been waiting for it to come up on for on demand or whatever it's called now, because that's what we're going to be watching. It's been a great series so far. It's always pretty great, though, isn't it? Yeah, if someone can rent me a scooter, maybe that'll solve my Essen problems. With some kind of fancy horn. Some kind of like Roger Rabbit outrageous cartoon horn. Thank you so much, everyone. I will see you very soon. Thank you for being here. You can support me on Patreon if you would like to. I'd like it. Yeah, have a good time playing games. Have a lovely weekend and stuff. See you soon. Bye, bye, bye.